You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is the Daniel Monday Night Community Show on demand through YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to us through this method. If you'd like to keep up to date with when I add new interviews, then subscribe to this channel. Ray, as always, it's great to have you here in the studio.
Yeah, lovely to be back again, Daniel.
So I was hoping you can give our listeners a little bit of an update.
Well, I think I've got a more positive update than I've ever been able to give on this show, so I hope it's going to be good news for everyone. I think most people know that the Sheerness Youth, our charity, took over the running of the Sheerness County Youth Centre from Kent County Council on the 1st of January 2013, after it was closed down along with 18 other youth centres in Kent. And with a staff team of volunteers, that was my staff team who volunteered to take it forward with me, the centre has run successful for the past 3 years. Now, in the last 10 months, we have moved things forward quite a bit. It started with Swale Borough Council. They registered the youth centre building as a community asset on the 5th of March. Now, this means the building can only be used for the purpose of community use, which would stop it being sold or used for commercial use in the future, which I think is quite good. It sort of secures it for the island. On the 22nd of October, the Charity Commission registered Sheerness Youth as a charitable incorporated organisation. This allows the existing charity to change its status to a CIO status and means you can purchase and own buildings. I don't know if anyone knows, if they run a charity, if it's a standard charity, you can't own the buildings, you can only run your charity within the community, but we can now own a building. And so on the 21st of December, Sheerness Youth purchased the youth centre off of Kent County Council. KCC actually purchased the redundant Methodist Church, where we're actually on the corner of Merrick Road, the Broadway Sheerness, on the 20th of December 1959. They paid £2,000 and converted it into the youth club known as the Sheerness County Youth Club. The centre was officially opened in June 1960 and run by Kent County Council for 52 years, when it was closed under the cuts to the Kent Youth Service. So Sheerness Youth, interestingly enough, purchased the centre 55 years later, almost to the day. There's only 1 day difference between when KCC bought it and we bought it 52 years on. And the word youth club was changed to youth centre some years ago, but we decided to leave the name county in the title, as it has always been known as the county. And as we're the only club called the county, well, why not, you know?
Ray, I was hoping you were next going to go over plans for the future.
Yes, well, after what I think is a historic event, as actually buying the centre, there's not many clubs that have managed to do that. Obviously, our next thing is going to be to make sure that we can raise enough money for the running cost. And we've estimated at the moment it'd be between £10,000 and £12,000 a year to run the centre. So fundraising events, collection boxes and donations are all going to be important to our future. In the scheme of things, it's not a large amount of money compared with what some organisations need to raise, and the reason for that is, of course, we're basically not taking a salary, and so we pay very little for probably cleaning and administration costs and things like that. Everything else is like running cost, electricity, utilities and such like. With regards to youth work, we have a very experienced staff team, so I'm confident we can deliver a quality youth service to young people on Sheppey. But of course we will need a few more volunteers. I think I've got a team of about 10 at the moment. Most of that 10 were actually originally staff of the old Sheerness County Youth Centre that come along and join me to carry it forward. But we could do with some more volunteers. So if anybody's interested, we've got various levels of volunteering. You haven't got to be that skilled, but we could even do with somebody do some handiwork around the club if you didn't want to do youth work. We're always grateful for someone to do a bit of decorating for us, right up to those people who would like to come along and help us. Particularly, we've got a Friday night TARDIS disco, and we could do with a few more staff on that night, once a fortnight. So maybe some people are interested. We will be developing the activity programme, slowly improving and upgrading all the equipment. I'm amazed how well we've done in the first 3 years as a voluntary organisation. It was always a little bit nerve-wracking to think that we were going it alone. 55 years, a long time to be under the local authority with a definite amount of money to run the centre, and then suddenly to realise that you're now on your own. But this could not have happened, of course, without the dedication of my staff team and the donations and funds raised by the people of Sheppey. Some people have been very kind and put their money in little boxes around town, or come along and give us a donation, or attending one of our fundraising events. We've had some really good ones with the quiz nights thing at the club, and people come along, had a good night there, raised a lot of money. So things like that is going to be very important in the future. We have plans for about 10 projects to improve the centre, including renovating the building, and we will be looking for funding to achieve this over probably the next 3 years, I think, to be sensible about it.
Young people wishing to try out the centre, what information will they need?
Right, well, the Sheerness County Youth Centre is open to young people aged 12 to 17, and providing you become a member before you're 17, if you do well in the centre and you want to be a senior helper, you can stay until the age of 19. Membership is free, but you will pay 50p per night entrance fees and £1 on Club TARDIS nights. Now, the centre is open Tuesday and Wednesday nights every week, 6:30 till 9, and fortnightly on a Friday night for the Club TARDIS disco, and that runs from 7 to the new time of 9:30. The next TARDIS, we've just started a series, will be on Friday the 19th of February, and then every Friday a fortnight after that. The TARDIS has been a popular venue for a lot of young people on Sheppey, and we've got a very nice nightclub feel to the centre for that one night, which we do things differently. The rest of the week, of course, we've got an activity programme consisting of 2 new table tennis tables. 2 pool tables have just been recovered, thanks to staff. And we run weekly competitions, which we call ratings, which they move up and down a rating board to see who can keep at the top for the longest. We've got an arts and craft and design session every Tuesday. Incredible, a youth club should run that, and it's successful, but people do enjoy that because it's a bit of a free thing. We've got a theme each week, but if you want to do something different, it's not like an art class where you have to do the same thing that everyone wants to do on that night. We've got 4 computers that you can go on, and an Xbox that's got running at the moment FIFA. We've got an internal radio station, not unsimilar to what you got here, not quite so plush as your station, but it is a real radio station within the club, which we broadcast only into the club, and it gives young people a good chance to see what it's like to be a DJ or radio presenter, and of course one day they may be up here or somewhere else doing a radio show, so it's quite good training for them. We have an interesting thing now. We've introduced a free food tasting every 2 weeks on a Wednesday, and that means we provide free food, and we try out food from all different countries, giving young people a chance to try things they've never tried before, so they're not always on the burger and chips. And we've also included some healthy living tips when we do this, so that they can pick up some ideas of how they can eat healthier but have something that's really tasty and enjoyable. That's a very popular night. That's a Wednesday, once a fortnight. I think it's not this Wednesday, I think the following Wednesday. And I'm not quite sure what country we're doing yet, but we've gradually moving through all the countries. Quite interesting. And we've got dance and stage mime. Stage mime now called, of course, lip sync. And it's interesting, the Americans have brought out this show called Lip Sync, and we were doing this 40 years ago, and we call it stage mime. So that's clearly going to be very popular again, even though we've always had the stage and the makeup room and everything there ready to go. I think young people are going to take more interest because they see it on telly. And then, of course, we've got television and video productions in our own television studio, which is also double up for dance. We're working on new television sets. It's probably the only place in Kent that young people walk in and go onto a news set and do a news programme or do a little chat show, because we're dressing it all out with new equipment, new furniture, settees and armchairs for the interview set, and the news set is all newly designed, being built now. We've got darts and table football, of course, on offer. And of course we've got a really nice cafe selling hot and cold drinks, canned drinks and bottled drinks, a wide range of crisps and sweets, with a seating area for catering for about 16 young people, open all night, a lounge seating 10 young people. We have our own members committee for young people who are interested in helping to run the centre. That's always quite an interesting thing. People get really involved and want to be part of the decision making. If you bring a bike along, you travel into the centre, then we offer free cycle locks, so your bike is safe at the when it's locked up outside. And apart from a range of activities to suit everyone taste, it's a friendly, warm centre, and everyone says it's got a lovely atmosphere, and we do treat every young person individual, so we look at what they really want to do when they're in the centre. It's a good place for them to socialise with their friends, you know. From the outside, the centre, of course, looks like a small church, but inside it is very large, and is an attractive modern centre. That's why we call the disco the TARDIS, because it's so much bigger than it looks from the outside. And just one visit, I think they will see what I mean, because it's difficult to describe it on a radio programme. And yes, on your first visit, of course, on a Tuesday and Wednesday, we will let young people in free, because we want them to come in, and that's their compliment night when they come in and find out what it's really all about. And there's very few young people that walk through that door that don't actually stay. Most of them do stay. Some of them for nearly 5 years, you know. So we must be doing something right.
Ray, so what are the contact details?
Well, if anyone who wanted to phone us, they could phone us on Tuesday or Wednesday nights, as I said, between 6:30 and 9. Our phone number is 01795 66 2808. We don't have an answer phone service in the day, and the reason for that is, unfortunately, that number also appears for Swale Borough Council by mistake, and we're getting a lot of calls, and if people put them on the answer phone, they think it's being dealt with by Swale Borough Council, and we can't phone everyone back because it would cost us so much money. So we've taken our answer phone service off, and I think Swale Borough Council will be adjusting that number as soon as they can. But please remember that this number is the Sheerness County Youth Club number and not Swale Borough Council, and that's 01795 66 2808. We are on Facebook, and we've got 2 Facebook pages. One you can get through Sheerness County Youth Centre, and we've got a second page which is Sheerness County Youth Centre Days Gone By, which has got all our old archives on, and some of the old members might like to go on there and see if their pictures are on there from the past. If you'd like to email me, you can email me through the charity, which is sheerness@live.co.uk, or by post you can write to us at Sheerness County Youth Centre, Broadway, Sheerness, Kent, ME12 1TP. Perhaps I'll just repeat those if I can. So that's email, which is sheerness@live.co.uk, and by post it's Sheerness County Youth Centre, Broadway, Sheerness, ME12 1TP. Now, if volunteers can phone for an application form, and we can send it to you, or you can email me. Young people can view us on Facebook. Anyone wishing to make a donation, cheques should be made out to Sheerness Youth. And I just want to sort of put a personal message over to everyone, because this is a very special time for us, I think, over buying the centre, and to know that Sheerness Youth has got some really good trustees on it, some of our long-serving members of our management committee and people from the centre. And I think the message we want to put out is that Sheerness Youth plans to keep it simple. We will make slow and steady progress. We will not claim to be better than we are. We will always work towards providing the very best for young people on Sheppey, and we will always be grateful for your support. Thank you very much.
Ray, as always, thank you very much for coming along. That is Ray from Sheerness County Youth